My friend's soul tribe reading. I decided to do another one today. I almost didn't, but then I felt called to at the last minute. So I hope you guys are doing well. I spent like 3 hours doing a pick a card earlier. It was more like four. And that's why I didn't know if I would be able to come do this reading. But I still had lots of energy and I felt called to do one. So I wanted to read from this book again today. You guys are so sweet. I read all your comments last night and I cried. Thank you for those of you who understood why I was so upset about the spider. I feel like you guys see me in a way that I can't. Sometimes I wish the people in my life could see me the way that you guys see me, because I feel like, I guess that's the wrong wording. I guess, what am I trying to say? I just wish that sometimes that I had more people in my physical world, like you guys, because I feel so understood by you guys, and I feel, like I said, like you see my authentic self. I'm not saying the people in my life don't see the authentic me, but sometimes I don't feel like they see me, like I feel unseen. Anyway, what chapter were we on? I gotta start using a bookmark. Haven't I already learned this lesson? Apparently not. We read How to Remember You're Not Alone, 7 Ways to Become Your Most Emotionally Resilient Self. So before I begin, I'm gonna put that in there so I can find it easily after. And it's talking about being your most emotional resilient self. So I did grab a deck intuitively and I chose Healing Waters because we're dealing with emotions. So I thought I wanted to choose a deck that had to do with water emotions. And that's the one I chose. So that's the one we're going to read from. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for telling me what you were doing last night and what you were getting up to, what you were eating. I don't know if my friend is watching this, but I have a friend that whenever she messages me about food, I'm like, tell me about the food. I'm like, tell me about what you've been eating. Like, she'll be like, I went out for lunch, and I'll be like, but give me the details about the food. It's the Taurus in me. I don't like a lot of types of foods. I like what I like, I like the foods that I like, and I like them hard. I do like food. I'm a Taurus. I can't help it. But again, I'm kind of picky about the foods that I eat because I'm also neurodivergent. Highly spiritual, not meant for this world. Are you guys like that with food? Like, I only eat the same things all the time. Like, I eat my safe foods and that's it. Anyway, thank you for those of you who were telling me you were eating. Like, somebody was like, I'm eating chocolate ice cream. I'm like, yay! But yeah, thank you for sharing that with me. Really, like, odd train of thought here, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Because my kids just didn't understand. I was watching one of the Walking Dead spin-off shows. So I put off watching The Walking Dead for a long time. Like, if something's popular and people are like, you should watch it, you should watch it, you should watch it, I'm like, I don't want to watch it. Like, stop telling me what to do. Even like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like, it was years before I watched those just because of the hype of them. And I don't want, like, I've never been a person that is like pressured into things like that or follows the norm or the crowd or whatever you call it. Anyway, so it took me many, many years to watch The Walking Dead. But I recently, and I know it's not spiritual because it's The Walking Dead and there's zombies and it's gross. But I recently watched it with my 2 older kids and they really enjoyed it. And to be honest, we had a lot of fun making fun of it. Like, my kids and I drove my partner crazy because we were like little commentators making jokes about everyone. Anyway, we've recently started watching all the spin-off shows, which are And last night we started The Ones Who Live. And if you've never watched The Walking Dead, I don't want to spoil anything for you. I'm not even going to tell you who the show has in it. because that'll spoil something in The Walking Dead for you. But one thing that I wanted to mention that I thought was really cool is in the very first episode. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. Anyway, in the very first episode, the two characters that the show is about aren't in contact. And they're having dreams about each other. So he's dreaming that he's talking to her at a park and meeting her on a park bench. And then at one point he starts writing to her and he says, I know that you're never going to get these letters, but by putting it down on paper, I feel like you're still getting the message somehow. And I was trying to explain to my kids, I'm like, they're communicating in the 5D, like they're meeting in dreamland. And even though anyway, even though the letters weren't being sent, he was still finding comfort in writing those letters, and then he burned them and like releasing them. And I believe that she got those messages from those letters, but it just reminded me of, you know, spirituality and connecting in the 5D with people, and, you know, how you can write. Like, I've written letters to the people in my life who don't want to heal or don't want to be a part of my life. I've written letters to them both in person and had, you know, them not received well. But I've also written them to myself in order to release it. So I've written letters to all these people in my life, all these people. It's a small number, but I've written acceptance letters, goodbye letters, forgiveness letters, and then I've released them. Anyway, I just thought it was a cool thing because I don't know if the creator of the show was meaning for that to be the message behind it, but I felt like that there was meaning behind that. And about how we don't have to actually send that letter if it's not a safe situation, or you feel like you've tried sending a letter like that before and that person didn't receive it well. You can write that letter for yourself. You can journal about it. You can burn it. You can bury it. You can, you know, release it on your own. Anyway, don't know why that's coming up, but, you know, I wanted to mention it because I thought it was cool, and you guys are my friends, and you guys are into the same magical things that I am, which a lot of people aren't. They're missing out. Seriously, they're missing out on the magic. But yeah, that's my spiel for today. I don't know what any of it means, but there you go. Was there anything else I wanted to tell you? I don't think so. I think that was it. I just thought that was cool. My cat's hanging out by my feet right now, meowing like crazy, trying to say hello to you guys. Oh, he's running. He's got the zoomies. Hello, Wally. So let's get some cards. So like I said, because this chapter is touching on emotions, I wanted to grab a deck that had to do with emotions, and I thought, what better deck to get than a deck about water? So I have used this deck for Soul Tribe before. I'm full of cat hair. Oh my goodness. I don't even care. And we have the Healing Waters Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. I don't know why I'm looking in this book. I haven't gotten a card for you yet, but let's see what the Soul Tribe needs to hear today. So thank you for joining me for another Soul Tribe reading. I'm always so blown away by all your beautiful comments. Seriously. Soul Tribe readings are my favorite. So let's see what you need to hear today from the Healing Water deck. So we'll cut the deck and see what's on the bottom. I usually take the bottom. We have She Who Flows, ease, being open to change, go with the flow of life. And I would like to remind you that this is them who flows, or they who flow. Doesn't have to just be feminine, she, gender. Anyway. So let's see if I can find this card. I know what I wanted to tell you. I bought myself a Halloween costume because for years, for 12 years actually, since my kids were babies, I've been saying, I'm going to dress up for Halloween. I'm going to dress up for Halloween. And oftentimes what happens is I end up just doing, the girl thing of drawing a cat nose and wearing cat ears because it's easy and convenient. I recently watched a Halloween episode of The Office, and almost every single woman was some version of a cat. And my kids were like, why do women always dress up like cats? And I'm like, because it's easy. Anyway, this year I went Halloween costume shopping with my kids, and they all picked out a costume, and they were all like, please dress up, mommy, please dress up. And I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I'll tell you because you're my friends. I find it frustrating to walk into a Halloween costume store and see all of the cool costumes geared towards men, and then you go to the women's section and it's all like barely any clothing, Playboy bunny, sexy nurse, sexy this, sexy that. And even my kids were like, my kids were so sweet. They were looking at like the Playboy bunny skimpy outfits, and they were like, how are people gonna trick or treat in those? And I'm like, oh, you guys, I'm like, the people who are wearing those are not trick or treating, they're going to parties, like they're partying for Halloween. But there's something, I know this is weird to mention, but there's something that frustrates me about being a woman and being like put into a little box where if I want to dress up, like 80% of the costumes are like, I'll just say it. They're skimpy and they're like, not me. That's not who I am. I'm not somebody who, that's just not who I am. Anyway, so when I went with my kids, that's all I was seeing were like sexy costumes, and it was like, I don't really want to be any of that. That's not who I am. I did consider dressing up as an angel, but I thought I would be too cold because I still I take my kids trick-or-treating, so I need something warm. I did think about dressing up as an angel though, which I've never thought about dressing up as. Anyway, I ended up leaving the Halloween stores saying, I'll just be a cat. Anyway, I had huge regrets over it, and I was thinking about it for a few days. So I ended up caving and buying myself a Halloween costume, and it's not sexy. I look a little bit ridiculous in it, but I don't even care. I am going as a Dalmatian. Anyway, I'm going as, is it Perdita? Is that her name? Perdita and Pongo? Anyway, I decided to order a full body dog costume. It has paws and everything. And I'm going to go as a Dalmatian, and I'm going to do my face up and everything. And I have, as a child, still even now, 101 Dalmatians is my all-time favorite Disney movie next to Pocahontas. Clearly, you guys know I love Pocahontas. But 101 Dalmatians has always been my favorite, and it's really hard to find things 101 Dalmatians. Like when I went to Disney, you can barely find anything at Disney that's 101 Dalmatians. Anyway, I still have, I don't have very many things from when I was young because of my upbringing. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I mentioned it in one of my pick-a-cards today that, people assume that I like, oh, she's so together, she's so confident. People have even, told me, you like, what do you know? You've probably had an easy life, and I haven't. I left home I left home when I was 16. I lived in group homes. I was in the system. I was homeless. I spent nights sleeping on the street. What was my point? So I barely have anything from when I was a kid, but one thing I do have is a Pongo stuffed animal. So I'm going to go as Perdita or whatever her name is. And I'm going to carry around my Pongo and I don't care. The other option was to go as Sexy Cruella de Vil. Like, that's what I mean. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you guys any of this, but it bothers me that that's, you know, that really bothers me about Halloween costumes and women, and about how there's that pressure to dress in a sexy way. And even if it's not coming from people, it's like the pressure of that's what you're seeing like in front of you when you go look at costumes. Anyway, I'm going to dress up in that Dalmatian costume and I'm going to do a reading for you guys. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys because you're my friends and I know you accept me for me. So I wanted to tell you I'm very excited about dressing up as a Dalmatian with my Dalmatian Pongo and painting my face. Yeah, my cat's not happy about it. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because it came and I tried it on and it fits. It has a tail. Anyway, let's get into this reading. Oh my goodness. You know what happens is the other day I was talking for 9 minutes or something and I said, there you go, 9 minutes of your life you'll never get back. And then I get comments that are like, those were the best 9 minutes of my day. And I get this, you know, you guys are like, I love when you rant. I love when you talk about pointless things. And it gives me, it's like you're giving me permission to do it more. So really you've inflicted this upon yourself. Anyway. Water is the most powerful force on our planet. It has the potential to destroy everything in its path or be embracing, still, and gentle. When a river meets a rock, it doesn't try and move it. Instead, it embraces and flows around it. It doesn't question why the rock is there. It sees it as part of its path. Water teaches us how to flow with life, how to greet obstacles on our path with open arms and receive life fully. In this way, the world's waters have literally shaped and crafted the entire landscape of the planet that we know and love today. Mountains and valleys, coastlines and woodlands, all are a result of water embracing life. The ancient Greek goddess Rhea was the daughter of Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, Heaven. She is also referred to as Cybele. I'm not pronouncing any of this right. Mother of us all. In his work Cratylus, the philosopher Plato referred to Rhea as a stream or she who flows. Perhaps Rhea herself has much to share with us about how to truly flow with what appears on our journey, whether unexpected or expected. Call upon her to support you in embracing any unexpected changes you're facing. This card invites us to stop seeing the unexpected things in life as obstacles and instead treat them as invitations to embrace life, to find a way to soften and embrace what occurs rather than try to avoid it or fight it, to flow with rather than to resist. What unexpected obstacles are you resisting or fighting right now? What would happen if you embraced them as part of your path? So let's get another one. I could have just said, I'm going to be a Dalmatian, but I needed to paint you a picture. That's what I always call it. We have Let It Go. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can't believe this came out because it's so in tune with every other reading we've been doing. Let it go, release the past, forgive, soften, move forward. And what was I talking about? Writing a letter. If you can't talk to that person that you're trying to release. And this is coming out on, today is the full moon. So if you've been thinking about writing a release letter, or you've been thinking about what you can release and forgive, today is the day to do it. And then burn it. Burn it! I like to burn it and watch it flow off into the moonlight. I do. I like it. So we have let it go. Are you kidding me? Guess what page it's on? Guess what page it's on? It's on page 100 and 101. Every dang day. Every day. Every day. That's magical. Change is one of the most difficult things for our heart and mind to accept. Maybe you're on the brink of an ending, a hurt or a loss. Oh no, my battery's dying already. Or perhaps you're experiencing an ending in the past, or perhaps you experienced an ending in the past but are still carrying the pain within your heart and mind. Just as the shoreline doesn't try to hold on to the sea, this card comes with encouragement to begin the process of letting go. Letting go is rarely something that happens in an instant. More often, it's a process that can take days, weeks, months, even years. The process always begins with a willingness and a wanting to be free of what once was. Holding on to an emotion, such as sorrow, anger, or disappointment, is a normal part of the process, and in order to be free of it, we must first feel it fully. Emotions are feelings in motion. They're not meant to be stagnant. Water is the same. It wants to move and flow. When we allow our emotions to be there fully, they rarely last as long as they would do if we repressed them. When we avoid endings for whatever reason, the symbolic waters within us can build up and become stagnant. Call upon the waters within you to flow freely. Let the dammed walls of past hurts come tumbling down. Let the waters within you travel out into the world. Let them find their way past stones and riverbanks. New streams are calling you forth. Let the ocean call you home. Soul inquiry. What are you willing to let go of? Oh my God. I have a hard time letting go. I'm just going to admit it. I have a really hard time letting go. And like that card yesterday about letting go, the one with the swan and the snake coiled around her, I was doing a lot of reflecting on that, and like I find it really hard to let go of people who I wish would want to be in my life, you know? Letting go is hard. Letting go isn't easy. It's a constant work in progress, I think, and it takes healing and time and patience. I'm okay, you guys. I don't want you to worry about me, but I'm just being, I'm always, transparent with you, and I'm being honest. I have a really hard time letting go. I have a really hard time letting go of control and again, letting go of people. And I've always been this way. I think I described to you explained to you that when I was growing up, I was always the person in my family trying to repair rifts between family members, like between my grandmother and her children, between my dad and his siblings. I was always the one trying to repair the rifts. I didn't want to just let go. Hang on. Anyway, I just wanted to be transparent with you, and it helps me. Like, I know that you guys say, oh, you help me so much, you're such a guiding light, but you're my guiding lights. You're the people who help me, and being able to say this to you helps me process it. Like, I don't think I've ever said that out loud. I don't think I've ever said that out loud about myself, that, I have a habit of holding on to people who don't want to be held on to and don't want to be in my life. Anyway, I can't remember what I was going to say. The whole time I was reading that card, if this is symbolic, this talks about river bends and like obstacles in the way. And I know this is weird, but I had the song Just Around the River Bend by Pocahontas playing in my head. Just around the river bend, just around the river bend, I look once more, just around the river bend, beyond the shore where the gulls fly free. Don't know what for. Why do all my dreams extend just beyond the river bend? Like, I don't even know why I know those words. Anyway, I love that song, so that could be symbolic. Why am I picking up that? Let's get another one. See? You guys bring something out in me. Let's get another card. We have let it rain, allowing what is oh my gosh, why can't I say that word? It's inevitable. Inevitability, is that the word? See, if I look at it, I can't say it. Trust. Let it rain, allowing what is, allowing what's inevitable, trusting in the process. Interesting. I'm like snotting all over myself here. I'm sorry. Why is just around the river bend stuck in my head? Are you kidding me? That's the next card. So we have let it go and let it rain. Let it rain is the next card. I always, you guys know me, simple things, I find them magical. So after you let go, you got to let it rain, is what I'm hearing. There's a moment just before it starts to rain when the pressure can be felt. What's been building up is preparing for a big release. Yay, full moon, release. The clouds cannot hold their breath for a moment longer, and then right on cue, they surrender the rain they've been holding on to, and the downpour finally begins. While we may have preferred to see clear skies abound, a sweet relief can be felt when the waters of the sky return to the ground. There is also a special moment that can be felt immediately after the rain stops and the sun reappears from behind the clouds. It's similar to what happens to us during a good emotional cry. The endorphins that are released as we let our red-hot tears flow down our cheeks evoke a feeling of sweet relief. Something's been released, lifted, and cleared. We feel a little lighter and more free. This card comes with encouragement to surrender what's happening in your life. Maybe you're experiencing a challenge or something isn't going to plan. Although you might prefer the sun to shine all year round, there's intelligence in the rainy days, and there's healing in your tears. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. And that's what I was saying by me even crying and telling you guys, I have a really hard time letting go. That's healing for me. So thank you for giving me the space to do so, because, I appreciate that. What are you being called to surrender to? Let's get one more. Okay, then. That's the one we're getting. We have the water carrier. What really matters, reflect, reprioritize. Interesting. The water carrier. Yep, it takes me forever. In most parts of the modern world, humans have become disconnected from each other and the planet. We've forgotten the simple things, like where water that sustains us even comes from. We speak about creating harmony and peace on Earth, but really our focus should be creating harmony and peace with the Earth. Is it possible that it's our disconnection from seeing Earth's resources as sacred that made us so disconnected? When we look into the future, we can see that without water, there can be no life on Earth. Without water, humanity cannot survive. This is a card about getting your priorities right and focusing on what truly matters. In our busy world, it is so easy to get swept up in things that seem important and urgent when really, at the end of the day, we realize that worrying about them has been a waste of time, resources, and energy. It's time to take a moment to pause, reflect, and reprioritize, to focus on what really matters, to chop wood and carry water, to care for those in our community, to understand what's really truly important and act accordingly. What are you worrying about or doing that's a waste of time, energy, and resources? What are you being called to focus on instead? Interesting. Didn't mean to throw that card. Let's get one more. Ah! Tower moment. You tried to jump into my lap. That was interesting. Let's get one more. Now the camera feels off. I'm like such a creature of habit. Everything needs to be the same all the time. Let's get one more. Is it? Yeah, let's get one more. We have Mother of the Salt Waters. Passion, wild love, open your heart, let love in. So there's also been this reoccurring energy of releasing to make room for new in your life. So maybe you're someone who's releasing friends, patterns, people, love to make room for new. And this one specifically talks about love. So we'll see what it says. Mother of the Salt Waters. Guess what page it's on? Guess! Oh my gosh, it's on page 110 as I hit 110 on the timer. It's on page 110111. Magic, magic. As the timer said 110111. The ocean's unknowable, untamable, vast beauty has beguiled humans since time began, and numerous deities are associated with her salt waters. From the Greek goddess Amphitrite, I don't know what that is, wife of the sea god Poseidon, to Yamea, West African's queen of the sea, and from Doris, the Greek goddess of fertility and the abundance of the ocean, to Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty, who is born out of the sea foam. The ocean is a symbol of the feminine mysteries, love, beauty, and great passion. This card delivers with it a message of love as deep as the ocean, and passion as intense as the deepest blue sea. It is an invitation to welcome the feminine qualities within you and really let yourself dream. It's an invitation to see the beauty all around you and to let love in. It could indicate that a great love is on the horizon or that a new passion is drawing near. The Mother of the Salt Waters could be a sign that new love or new relationships are about to enter your life. Or if they're already there, perhaps you're being called to open your heart and be even more embracing and loving. If you're facing conflict, how can you soften your heart while remaining true to yourself? How can you embrace the people in your life? How can you trust more and welcome the holding and support? Soul inquiry, how can you let more love into your life? So I'll let you ponder that for yourself, and I'll ponder it too. And we'll read this book. So let me just make sure there's enough room here for everything. Bookmark so that we can quickly find it. 7 ways to become your most emotionally resilient self. Let's see how long it is. It's not very long. Resiliency is not an inherent trait, it's a practice. In fact, our ability to respond and to cope with life is usually a direct reflection of how many challenges we've been through. It's usually the people who are most at peace, who have oh my gosh, stop it! Remember when I was talking about how I've been through a lot in my life and people look at me and they just assume like, you must have a great life. Why do you laugh so much? Because I've been through the darkness. That's why. Listen to this. It's usually the people who are most at peace who have also been through the worst that life could have to offer them. Sign. There's no coincidence in this. When we learn to respond to our circumstances better, and especially through practice and repetition, we develop the character needed to get through life with more ease. There are 7 strategies that you can use to not only respond to your emotions, but also learn from them, grow from them, and use them for your advantage. Lean into how you feel. That's number 1. Lean into how you feel. Rather than leaning out of the emotions, resilient people get clear on what they feel and why. Instead of leaning away from how they feel, such as one would do through drinking, suppression, or distraction, emotionally resilient people journal, speak with a therapist, or a trusted friend, you, or express their experience in some other way that validates it. And listen, I used to be an alcoholic. That's how I used to suppress my emotions. I drank for a very long time, 15 years sober. Accept it even if you don't like it. Accepting something does not mean you're okay with it. It doesn't mean that you aren't going to change. It doesn't mean it's right. Acceptance only means that you are no longer going to stay in denial about reality. Acceptance is the first step to healing, because until we see our circumstances for what they are, changing them becomes impossible. And it's interesting because we've been talking about how you can't convince someone else to change or heal. They have to be able to see that in themselves, that they need to change and heal. Even if your acceptance looks like you're admitting that you're in a crisis and you need help, that's still progress, because you're so much closer to receiving it as opposed to where you would be if you remained in denial. Speak plainly about your feelings. When we're all jumbled up in how we feel, the facts about what's really going on can become totally skewed. A way to instantly calm yourself down and get clear on what's happening is to speak the facts about the situation, or what you feel about the situation, as simply as you can. It may look like this. I am on the receiving end of a brutal breakup, one I didn't see coming, and right now I'm feeling lost, unstable, and embarrassed. I dislike how I look, and after a lifelong battle to accept myself, I am feeling hopeless that I will ever find peace. I am anxious about my work situation, and though I recognize that it is irrational, the feelings are strong and are disrupting my quality of life. And these are the type of things that you can write down and release on a full moon. These are the type of things that you can journal about. This is really weird because it's giving me like a flashback to over a year ago when I was away, and I've told you guys this. I was in a city by myself and I felt very hurt, and I felt like I was taking up space because someone at the hotel told me I was in the way, like something ridiculous. They were like, "You're in the way, can you please move?" And I had this emotional reaction. And I remember telling you guys that I went and sat on a curb outside, and I didn't know what to do with all the feelings I was feeling. So I just started writing them out. I just started like this one. I didn't see it coming. Now I'm feeling really lost, unstable, and embarrassed. I swear I wrote something very similar to that. Like, I feel embarrassed. I feel like I'm taking up space. I feel like I don't belong. Sometimes just getting that out is the first step. Number 3, I think, find your motive. People who are resilient find the silver lining in everything. I used to be called Pollyanna because I tried to see the silver lining in everything, and some people don't like that. Another way to put this is that they find their motive no matter what's going on. If they are responsible for doing something they don't feel like doing, they imagine what's in it for them. If they are required to go to work or exercise or do really anything that isn't immediately satisfying, they focus instead on what benefit they could extract from it. Instead of thinking that you dislike your one family member so you're dreading the holidays, consider how happy you'll be to see everyone else you love. That should make one individual seem worth dealing with. Instead of thinking that you don't want to go to work, think about your long-term goals or even just your paycheck. Instead of thinking that you don't want to exercise, think about how much better you'll feel after you do, or how accomplished you'll feel at the end of the week. In anything life has to offer, there is always a benefit to be found. Emotionally resilient people find it. I like the next one because I'm always telling my followers or subscribers, whatever you guys are called, learn to laugh at yourself. That's such an important one. Humor is an incredible tool to diffuse otherwise tense and difficult situations. I'm just going to go to the next part. If you're able to make a joke about what you're going through, or find something funny and ridiculous within your own behavior, you'll likely find yourself much more able to cope with what's going on. Humor instantly lightens any situation. When you don't take everything so seriously, it alleviates so much unnecessary pressure. What number are we on? I don't even know. The next one. Solve the problem. More often than not, there is some kind of action that we can take in order to resolve whatever is bothering us. In fact, we often find the things that irritate us are the ones that are pointing towards an issue in our lives that we need to work to resolve. If we are constantly stressed about finances, then financial health needs to be something we strategize and prioritize. If we are in constant conflict in our relationships, then learning emotional intelligence and how to get along better with others is what we should be focusing on. Though most people allow life to happen to them, the emotionally resilient recognize that a lot of life is a reflection of them, and therefore they can control their own outcomes. I love this. This thing feels off since I dropped it. This is the last one. Reform yourself. Discomfort is a call to change. When we are most uncomfortable in our lives, it is often because life is demanding a better version of us start showing up. Through discomfort, though discomfort seems as though it should be our enemy, it is really our greatest ally. A deep and pervasive knowing that we are deserving of more, capable of more, and destined for more. The most impactful thing that emotionally resilient people do is adapt. When their old ways can no longer support them, they reinvent. They release old aspects of themselves and build new ones. They are in a constant state of growth. Though you cannot always control what you feel, you can control how you respond. And in that response, you can find your freedom. That last one really speaks to me. So the next chapter, which is tomorrow, if I come tomorrow. Ooh, that's a long one. So the next one, which is a short one, is trust that your heart knows the truth, even if your mind can't make sense of it. That's a hard one. That's a really short one. The one after is quite long, and it's titled How to Get Over Someone, the Ultimate Guide to Releasing Attachments, Reinventing Yourself, and Opening Your Life to New Love. So that's going to be an interesting one as well. Look, I didn't learn my lesson. I didn't put the freaking thing in. I didn't do it. There we go. Bookmark in. Lesson learned. So yeah, we'll read that shorter one probably tomorrow, and then I'll do the longer one another day. Let's get you a letter from your guides, from God, from the universe, from whoever, whatever you believe in. I used to be so judgmental of people. Oh my goodness. Cringy. I'm just thinking about that as I'm saying, whatever it is that you believe in. I used to be so judgmental about spirituality and religion and things like that. I was very closed-minded, So let's see what you need to hear, my friends. Are we going to get... We got 4. We got 4 today. We have 4. So... Dear you, there is a balance between activity and rest, ebb and flow. You can't have one without the other. If you are faced with an obstacle right now, the best course is surrender and non-resistance. Soon enough, you'll see how easy it is to flow around it. How interesting is it that these cards always fall in line with the chapter we're reading and the oracle cards we use, because we got a card talking about flow, and even this book talked about a river and about flowing through the obstacles. Anyway, now is one of those times you must trust the river, oh my gosh, of your life. Go with the flow, and in no time you'll reach what you have your heart and hopes set on. Just remember, Spirit will keep your head above water and direct the currents. When it's time for a greater effort, you'll know exactly when you need to work on those manifesting muscles. It can be challenging to master the flow of cycles in your life, but as you develop your skills, affluence will be yours. Enjoy the flow and trust those currents. We're right here with you, with our little umbrella drinks, smiling at your success. I don't know why that made me want to cry. Anyway, if you allow your this says trust the invisible. And what is the next chapter? Trust that your heart knows the truth, even if your mind can't make sense of it. Interesting. Dearest you, if you allow your awareness to settle in, you will hear us whispering sweetness and encouragement to you. You will know the truth of things that cannot be discerned through the material world. The receiver for this kind of essential knowing is your intuition, which is not your sixth sense, but your first, the primary navigational system of your soul. My battery's really dying. You are entering the age of consciousness. It's time to accept that the paranormal is normal. Human beings are multisensory, multidimensional beings. Spirit infuses all things, and your soul's job is to discover those essential truths here on earth where we all agreed to play. Today, trust your spidey sense, read between the lines, tune into the stories behind the stories, and your real world will show you miracles. Fear not, for we are right here and Spirit loves you. Trust the invisible. Dear you, check in occasionally with yourself about your motives behind the actions you're planning on taking, especially when you have an end game in mind. Was it one of these cards was talking about reevaluating? It's that type of energy. Interesting. Is the source of your motivation desire or entitlement? Maybe you've drawn to a certain path because you think it will bring you a feeling related to the outcome you seek, like safety or wholeness. Know that you will see a reflection in the outer world of the motive that drives you forward. Do you need a motive? Can you simply be pulled in the direction your soul calls you towards joy, discovery, growth, and adventure, participating in something compelling and meaningful without trying to define it? If you can step forward, surrender to whatever Spirit has in store for you, you will be amazed at how things work out. Check your motives and then hand them over to Spirit. Everybody here wants what's best for you. Life loves you more than you know. Don't know why I'm showing you that. Dearest you, the common sayings, be in the world and not of it, and wear the world loosely, refer to the need to be engaged with life while not being attached to specific outcomes. Do not take this world too personally, for you are one of many co-creators here to play, and we have many ideas about how this should all play out. Just know that outcomes don't matter as much as the presence you bring to each experience and how you let yourself flow through life. There's a real freedom in knowing and accepting this. So will you wear the world loosely, or will it straitjacket you? It is your choice. Whatever happens, have the courage to keep trying to live as if you are meant to live as you are meant to. And when it comes to manifesting, don't worry about the how or even the why. We have that covered. Everything is going to turn out exactly as it should. Spirit has a plan. Loving you always and forever. So I'm about to run out of recording time, so I'm going to say goodbye here. Thank you again for joining me for another Soul Tribe reading. I love all of my Soul Tribe members. I'm constantly, you're in my thoughts. I think about you as I'm falling asleep, and I send you good thoughts and prayers. And yeah, thank you again for giving me the space to share with you, because it helps me as well. So thank you again, my friends, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. If you're eating yummy food, please tell me about it. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful night. Be gentle with yourself. Drink some water. Love yourself. You're worth loving. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.